I'm on the side of the astrobiologists where it says ask astrobiologists, and there's a person here that writes some questions, right? And he mentioned Richard Hoagland regarding to the moon dark mission. However, there is an answer here by Mr. David Morrison. He's a senior scientist there, and what he says is as follows. Part of it I'm going to read you. It's not by former NASA employees. It's offered Richard C. Hoagland and M. Barak and know nothing about how NASA and the scientific community really works. You know, it's very interesting. So let's have a look to see what we can dig up. On this site here, I just put you the link here so you can have a look at it. And on page 201, it talks about the Pioneer, right? Pioneer 10. And there is an acknowledgement here made by the late Carl Sagan. And this is what he has to say. We thank the Pioneer Project office at the AM's Research Center, especially Charles Hall, the project manager, and Theodore Weber, and officials at NASA headquarters, particularly John Nugel, I think it is, and Ishtiaq Rasul, and Henry J. Smith, for supporting a small project involving rather longer time scale than the government agency usually planned for. And then he goes on to say, and I quote, the initial suggestion to include some message aboard the Pioneer 10 was made by Eric Burgess and Richard C. Hoagland. All right, and this is on page 201. All right, and it's referring to this image here, I believe. Okay, this is a project that Richard C. Hoagland did for NASA, and you can have a look at the website here, and it's called The Moon. But I just want you to I just passed through this one very fast because I want to get into something. Just to show you that this is a real site here, it's no joke. And at the end of it is the author, Mr. Richard C. Hoagland. And as you can see here, it says Richard C. Hoagland is a former staff lecturer and curator of astronomy and space science at the Springfield Museum of Science in Massachusetts. He subsequently was assistant director of the Jane Girls Science Center and the Planetarium at Children's Museum, Hartford, Con, and devised several major programs to modernize planetariums in the United States. His innovation include techniques described as major breakthrough in the field of planetarium programming and simulation in the journal Sky and Telescope. A writer and lecturer, Mr. Hoagland is a consultant on astronomy and space science to museums, planetarium, and aerospace broadcasting industries. Now, I'd like to bring your attention also to this particular document, because this is very important. I want to take you here. I want to show you the site first, so you can have a look. You can type this in before some bloody idiot at NASA decide to edit or remove it. Now, we need to go here on page 17. It's bloody unreal. Whenever you try to find something on Richard Hoagland, you will not find it in keywords. You just have to, it's trial and error. You need to go through all this documentation, which is a shame, really. I think that some of these scientists still believe that the Earth is flat, like 400 years ago. So we are on page 14 now. 15. 16. Okay, and this is it, page 17, all right? Page 17, and this is the title that you'll be looking at, all right? Now, it says here, listed chronicle according to arrival scientific visitors to the Planetary Research Center during this report period included Professor William McRae of the University of Sussex in England, Dr. William McKinney, I think that's how you pronounce it, of the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point, Dr. William Hartman of the Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Dr. Frank Gifford of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Oak Ridge, Dr. Gerald Q. Pinot, I think it's pronounced that way, sorry if I get misspelled, of the Pic du Midi Observatory, Dr. Josette Hequet of the University of Lille in France, Dr. Jean-Eric. So anyway, as you can see, there's a lot of prominent scientists here, all right? But have a look at here. Have a look at here. The name Mr. Richard C. Hoagland appears. And not only that, it says here in bracket, all right? And I read it to you because this is very important for anybody who wants to trace the truth here. It says, and I quote, who is also a science writer connected with projects at the Goddard Space Flight Center. All right, and it's in bracket here. All right, so I'd like to know if this bloody stooge from NASA, what is his name, David Morrison, if he can answer this question as to what project, if he could, you know, get his hand off his ass for a moment and find out what project was Mr. Richard Hoagland involved in, because we don't know. We don't know, David Morrison, because everything is not very simple to find anything about regarding Mr. Richard C. Hoagland. It should be a little as easy as putting his name as keyword. You know, can anybody in NASA understand that? Okay, so I've just typed in Richard C. Hoagland and have a look what we see. This is the one that they put in here. This is the one that NASA has seen fit to put about Richard Hoagland, the one that he gets insulted and humiliated. That's a site, the astrobiologist. Okay. Now let's see if we can see something positive about Mr. Richard C. Hoagland. There's a whole bunch of names here. Doesn't mean a thing. There's only 3. So we go on top. What I'm looking here is in regard to what we're talking about on this topic. Almost nothing important is here of Richard Hoagland, as you can see. About the moon, I suppose that if you put Richard Hoagland, it comes again, this one. This is the one that he criticized Richard Hoagland. Okay.